of our team on how to take Chandler forward and move us. They're teasing me now, though. Any of you who know Moore's Law, Gordon Moore was one of the founders of Intel, and Moore's Law is you will double the speed and you'll double the speed in half the size every 18 months. Well, now they're teasing me, telling me that I have to follow Moore's Law, that they're expecting 12,000 jobs this year instead of 6 or 2 or 3. So they're teasing us about that on a constant basis. And we are still moving forward. We are still seeing tremendous activity. If you look at, our favorite 800-pound bunny, Intel, they are under construction with Fab 42. And that construction project not only means tremendous things for our workforce here in Chandler, they will be bringing on more than 1,000 new permanent employees, and more than 6,000 construction workers will be on that site for the next 18 months. But it's not just about Intel. It's not just about what that provides to Intel and to Chandler through Intel. Intel has an economic multiplier of 3.68. What that means is for every single job they create in Chandler, they create an additional 3 to 4 jobs somewhere here in this region. And that is jobs at your gas and sip, that's jobs at the Lizard Thicket, that's jobs at a manufacturer that supports them, that's jobs here in the city, that's jobs across the board, it's jobs at Air Products, that's jobs across the board. When we look at what we get so excited about in this community and this country, everybody fights for that Super Bowl. Everybody gets so excited when you win a Super Bowl. And a Super Bowl brings an average investment into a region of $400 million. Huge amount of impact into a region. Intel's economic impact into this region is $420 million every other month. So they are like winning 6 Super Bowls every single year by being here in Chandler. It is their Intel, Freescale, Microchip, our Advanced Business Services, eBay, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, are kind of our Toyota, are kind of our bigger companies that support a lot of the smaller companies here within the region and hire our employees. But that is something that we don't take lightly. We then look at our smaller businesses. And of those 6,000 jobs that we created here in Chandler last year, less than half of them were from those behemoths. Most of them came in the 40s and the 10s and the 15s and the 75s and the 25s from companies that exist here or started here in Chandler. So it is about the small businesses. BE Aerospace, Safe Light Auto Glass, that's 1,000 other jobs. But right across the board, those companies continue to grow. We are very, very fortunate here in the community. Even in this struggling, we're still seeing the economy scrape along the bottom. We're still seeing housing prices fall. However, Chandler has the second lowest foreclosure rate in the entire state. And that speaks volumes to all of you sitting in this room that are working in your own companies, creating your own jobs, and continuing along. It speaks volumes to the platform that our city council has created to draw those large companies in, to draw the small companies in. It's funny, I get calls into my office. I get about 250 emails a day and about 50 phone calls a day, and we take about 8 meetings a day. So we're very, very busy in our organization, which is a great thing. It's in our business, being bored and sitting around waiting for the phone to ring sucks. Because then Councilmember Sellers calls me and asks me what I do with it instead of reading about it in the paper and letting us do our own thing. So we've been very busy, which is a very, very good thing to be. But we look back, and it really is, it's all that platform that was set all those years ago by our founding families. Instead of investing in spring training, instead of investing in Cardinal stadiums, our old councils, our old mayors, our old city managers invested in infrastructure here in Chandler instead. They put in roads, they put in sewer lines and water lines, and they put in ultra-pure nitrogen lines in partnership with Air Products, who invested a huge amount of money to put those nitrogen lines in Price Road. We had the Brewers here in the 90s, and they wanted about $10 million to reinvest into to stay in the community. And City Council at that time, led by our city manager, Rich DeLugas, who was the director of Parks and Rec back then, thought better of that. They thought that was not a wise investment of your taxpayer dollars, and said to them, no, they thought better, would rather spend money on infrastructure instead. And the Brewers went to Maryvale, and the stadium stood empty. It's used for slow pitch softball and world championships of softball, but it will redevelop as something else. And you look at the way now that spring training teams hold cities hostage. Investments are now $84 million, $110 million, every third or fourth year after you've invested that money, they threaten to go somewhere else unless you upgrade your stadium, unless you change things. And that's for games that last 1 month out of the year. So I think it speaks volumes as to the mentality here in Chandler and the vision here in Chandler, that even back in the day when we were the only ones who had, Tempe, Scottsdale, were the only ones that had spring training, that even back in the 25 years ago, council still had that, or 15 years ago, council still had that vision to say, that's not a good investment of our taxpayer dollars. We'd rather invest in something that brings in the companies. And that's where we've always stood. So I know I've been here 13 years, and I wouldn't be anyplace else. We get a lot of offers to do other things around the country, and I tell you what, Chandler really sets the stage. And I'll end it with a perfect example of how things work here in Chandler. The City Hall. So many communities go into huge bond debt on their citizens to build a City Hall. We didn't. We were in a building that was built in the 1970s. We then, if you look to the north of our building, the Rocky Mountain Building, which is now not called that, but I still call it the Rocky Mountain Building, we took a 50% leasehold in that building for 10 years to get private sector to fund an office building here in downtown Chandler. We lived in that building for 10 years. We then took a 30% leasehold building in another building so that we could get another private sector building funded and off the ground and operating here in downtown Chandler to bring jobs into downtown Chandler. Through that whole 20-year period, we were saving our money to build this building. This building was built with cash out of a savings account. No bond debt was put on our citizen. We didn't have to go for any debt obligation. This was all actually paid for out of an account that was saved and planned for this building for 20 years. I don't think there's many cities you can look at to say that they protected their citizens' money that way and really looked at the vision of Chandler, making sure that we really were able to always focus on moving forward. So I know as a citizen of Chandler, it makes me incredibly proud to be here. Some of the stuff you're going to hear this morning is about the economy still dragging and maybe not, we're in recovery, but not as quick as it should be. I'm here to tell you that Chandler is one bright spot. Our mall is doing well. Our retail sales tax has increased 9.1% over the last period of time. People are out spending money. There are developers building houses. There are new people moving back into Chandler. We issued 90 TI permits here in Chandler last month alone. So things are moving forward. So as you hear today about the national economy, just know that here there is a bright spot, and we welcome you, and we're very excited to have your small businesses here in Chandler. Thank you.